As South Africa marks National Women's Day, the nation will also reflect on the contributions that women have made in the struggle against inequality. It was on this day 66 years ago when women marched to the seat of power, that's the Union Buildings, against the racist pass laws that seem to control the movement of black people under apartheid. Our reporter Mbali Thethani is watching this. She's live to us now from Church Square in Pretoria. And Mbali, this year's Women's Day, like many before it, comes at an anxious time for women in this country, with many South Africans still reeling over the latest incident of headline-grabbing gender-based violence in the form of that gang rape in Krugersdorp.
That's right, and of course today we are indeed marking and celebrating Women's Day in the country, and of course this is where 20,000 women in 1956 raised their issues against the pass laws and marched when they gathered here at Church Square and then marched to the Union Buildings. While we do understand and see the continued challenges that women face and those struggles which you have highlighted, we also zoom into the legal fraternity. And you'd also know that where I'm standing right now at Church Square, it is just opposite the old High Court here in Pretoria. And just standing by with me is a woman who is a legal advisor, or another title that she'll also then share with us. Her name is Asavela, and she is somebody who has made great strides in the legal fraternity. Asavela, thank you so much for joining us here on Newzroom Afrika, and today we're sharing the stories of many women, and women including yourself, who have made contributions in the legal fraternity. Of course, this is something that in the past would be unheard of. When we reflect and look at a day like this, what does it mean to you?
Thank you so much for having me, Mbali. A day like this for me basically is a reminder of how far we've come, particularly as women within the legal fraternity, but also just how far we still have to go. I mean, by how far we've come, Mbali, I think of things such as our constitution. When we first had our constitution adopted in 1996, and it was not until then that women actually received their first formal recognition as equal citizens. I mean, our constitution is very specific about everyone being equal before the law, and then you look at particularly Section 9 that speaks directly to unfair discrimination on the basis of gender, pregnancy, marital status, and so forth. And it was not until almost 30 years into our democracy where we had our first female Deputy Chief Justice, which is, a milestone. But of course, Mbali, we still have a long way to go. I mean, gender diversity within the legal fraternity is one of the hurdles that we face. I mean, if you follow the Judicial Service Commission interviews for potential judges, you will hear one thing that comes up over and over again is the lack of transformation within the judiciary. And then you look at the briefing patterns with the advocacy or directly in the legal practice, and you don't see women. I mean, you see your usual white male senior counsels. If not them, then it's Dalimbofu or Ngugai Tobi, who are doing an incredible job. I mean, kudos to them, but where are the women? And then you look at the attorneys' practice. Work is usually reserved for the big law firms and, the small firms, with women in particular having to fight for the crumbs, So those are the challenges that we still face today.
You talk particularly about gender equality, especially in your field. How far do we still need to go to see more women being recognized in your field?
We still have a very long way to go, Mbali. Like I said, that we just had our first Deputy Chief Justice who's female. And even though we celebrate that and we welcome that, you'll remember that Justice Maya was also the first president at the SCA, the Supreme Court of Appeal. Now, we also worried what's going to happen there because her deputy president, Betse, is male. So now we wonder, what is the president going to do? Is he going to take this opportunity and, amplify gender equality within the legal fraternity by appointing another female in that position, or will he just, elevate Justice he's done incredible work, Mbali. We are not in any way taking from the incredible work that Deputy President Betse has done, but we would love to see another female replacing Justice Maya.
All right. right, thank you very much. Of course, that is Asavela, a cry there for more women to represent, especially in the legal fraternity. They're particularly talking about the newly appointed Deputy Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court, of course, that is Mbali Thethani. I'm just going to ask my colleague here, Murena, just to show you, Ayanda, we are expecting a number of people to begin to gather from at least around 8 or 9 o'clock this morning, and we are expecting the Gauteng government to then lead a march. Of course, they will then march from here, from Church Square, and then will then head over to the union buildings, where we understand that there will be that intergenerational dialogue that will take place, and Sophia de Bruin will definitely be one of the people who will be on that panelist. Ayanda?
Mbali Thethani, thanks very much indeed. Mbali live to us there from Church Square in the capital.